Hi all. Um, Today, uh, let's talk about anger and Bhagavad Gita. In Bhagavad Gita sloka, Shri.Krishna says, Trividam narakasyaidam dvaram nashanamatmanah kama krodasta lobhasta smadetrayam tyajit. Now everybody would be wondering what it means. Okay, now I'm talking about a sloka, what it means. So if you take the chapter 16, sloka 21 in Bhagavad Gita, God Shri Krishna says, there are three gates that lead to the hell of self-destruction. One is lust, second is anger, third is greed. So, but these are inevitable, right? In everyday people's life, sometimes we get angry, sometimes we get angry on, a mother gets angry on the child, a wife gets angry on her husband, and a child gets angry on its mother. So a teacher gets angry on a student. So anger is inevitable, greed. Once a soul is born on earth, to have control over greed and have contentment, it requires enormous knowledge of Shastras and Vedas and enormous devotion towards God. Who can give us the understanding of this world? Only God. So, when a child is young, a mother gets angry on the child, and sometimes she gets so much angry, she pretends as though she is hitting the child to correct it from harming itself. So when the elderly people grow old, with the process of aging, they lose their energy. So now the child is all grown up. It knows what is good, what is bad. But there is an expression. Once we grow up, once our parents become old, they lose the ability to take our anger. We can be angry, we can have mood fluctuations. I can have a bad day at work. I can come home, I can show it on my parents, which is very wrong. Or something might trigger my anger. And parents are not the escape route for anger. What is the best thing to do if you are angry? Not every day is green in everybody's life. The moment a child is born in a mother's womb, it starts crying. It shows hunger, it shows that it needs sleep, or maybe it has come out of a conducive, closed environment. Like that, the journey starts. The life journey starts. And it has many teachings. To be patient with elders, to be patient with the youngsters. So I'm doing my office work, on my computer. I can tell you a small incident that I remember, while my eldest brother's kid was with me. He was like 2.5, 3 years old. And I was working on the computer, doing something important, working on a document that I had to go the same day, probably within half an hour or so. The child came crawling. It is a joke for the child. It took a bottle of water, which I kept nearby, and it poured on my computer. Zoom! Everything washed off. It stopped working. Can I get angry on that small child? No. You might ask why. Because the child cannot understand. For the child, it has got only two thoughts. One, it looks at you as its own. Second, it looks at it as a playing. Okay, I will laugh, you will laugh. I started laughing along with my brother's kid. And then I went to my nearby internet center. Thanks a lot to God, the net center was open till 10:30. So I was able to kind of do the work and send it across. Like that, always one should have balance in emotions. To bring a balance in emotions is the difficult task for humans, unless, so that's where the practice of yoga comes. So yoga does not mean pranayams, doing breathing exercises, doing asanas. No, yoga has another deep meaning too. Not many yogic schools tells you this. It is meditation. I do meditation. I get up at 4. Not every day, I would say. Some days I do get up at 4. I close my eyes and meditate on God. I get a lot of inner peace. That's called as what we call a transcendental state. Where there are no desires, you find no relations, and it is like there is only one, Jivatma and Paramatma. But in my case, what happened was, when I went into the transcendental stage, it was so peaceful. There are no desires, there are no worries, there is nothing, it's just you, one Jivatma, trying to get united with the Paramatma. In that transcendental stage, excuse me, I heard my mom call me. And I was just wondering, where is this voice coming up? I saw like I was standing on a wooden plank, and my mom was standing next to me. I mean, when you're deeply loving somebody, it can be your mom, it can be your dad, or it can be your brother, sister, it can be your son, daughter. The person you are deeply in love can even penetrate the transcendental stage of Atma. That's when you come to know, okay, this is my mom. And I was happy, actually, because, like I said, elders, many people get angry on elders. But please don't do that. There's something called knowledge. And they call it vivegam. Vivegam means, it's kind of a knowledge you get. Maturity of understanding people. I want everyone to understand me. I have got my desires. I have got my sorrows. Why not people adjust to me? Why should I adjust to people? No, you don't have to. But that is not a sadgun. What is a righteous nature of a human? What is dharma? What does it teach? It teaches the righteous path. Respect your parents. Respect your elders. And when they grow old, they lose the ability to understand because of the aging process. A long time ago, one of my friends, she was talking about a patient. They got a patient to our hospital, and they said like he is talking to himself, and he doesn't listen to anybody. And there were tons of accusations on him by his daughter-in-law, and like this, he's doing like that. But none of them could really know what was the underlying factor. Nobody had the patience to sit. And when they entered the hospital OP, everybody was shouting at the same time. And the doctor had to calm them down and ask, what happened? Then they did some tests to find out he had hyponatremia. What is our body? It is but chemicals. And when the process of aging occurs, the magnesium, sodium, chloride, potassium, everything needs to be balanced. So her father-in-law's sodium had gone down. There was deliriums. So neither his son nor his daughter-in-law could figure that out. But the doctor had to sit explain, and do things. So never get angry when you take up a complex situation, when you are put into a very angry mood. That is when you should have lots of patience. That is when you should give time to yourself, analyze before you pour up words or jump into it. It comes with practice. Somebody was asking me, are Vedas related to anger? Can Bhagavad Gita, you are talking about, I used to go to temples and preach Bhagavad Gita, in my free time. So that's my favorite routine. So one of them asked me, can Bhagavad Gita get me out of this being anger? He was a 14-year-old kid. And I said, why not? Bhagavad Gita is an ocean. You hold Bhagavad Gita. What is not there in the world? Bhagavad Gita has got everything explained that exists in the world. From a little grass to a largest mountain, may it be Himalayas or Everest. It has all the explanations. I told the kid there are some slokas in Bhagavad Gita. If recited every day, the slokas will calm down the mind and bring the mind into divinity. Krishna tells, let me show you the path of heaven. Shri.Krishna, the God Shri.Krishna tells, let me show you the path of heaven. What is the path of heaven? So heaven has got, when you leave anger, when you develop knowledge, when you have understanding of others, rather intending to and looking for others to understand you, when you have the control over anger, lust and greed, then you can save yourself from self-destruction. You don't have to do rituals or say slokas, to reach heaven. These are the parts of dharma that will take a person to heaven. So if you want to lead a peaceful life, a serene life, life not full of worries, calm your mind. Because krodham is very harmful. Krodham is very harmful. So in chapter 2, the sloka 63, Lord Shri Krishna says, Krodha davati sammoha, sammohat samriti vibhramaha, samriti branshada, buddhinasho, buddhinashat pranashyati. Might be wondering what this means. Shri Krishna says, from anger comes destruction, and from destruction comes confusion of memory. And then there is a loss of reason. When you lose your reasoning, you take wrong decisions. It's a complete ruin. So, Lord Krishna says, what is the root cause of this? The anger. Why should I be angry? Let me leave it. For 10 days, let me leave anger. Let me see what happens. To control anger is a big task, But if you are able to master it, nothing in the world can stop you from prospering. So with this, I am going to conclude today's video on anger, Vedas and Bhagavad Gita. Thank you and God bless.